Welcome to Sonographers in the Cities, where we connect through sound with your hosts, Lynn and Giselle.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sonographers in the City. I'm Giselle.
And I'm Lynn.
I said city instead of cities. Hello, everyone. We have not been on for a little while. Today we are back with another episode. We did take a break last week. We were very, very busy, and everybody congratulate Lynn because she is now a real, true sonographer.
Yay! Meaning I'm really tired.
Yes, guess what, guys? She just came home from work.
Yes, I did. I came home from a full day of work, and I started last week. My first day was orientation, so it was work from home, and then second day was just like a lot of administrative stuff, just to get access to my email, to the what's that? What do you call where you look up patients' charts? What's that software? Like EMR?
Yeah, there's
there are
different-
multiple ones.
Yeah, but
What
the
was the
system.
generic word? Yes, the system.
I mean, the
That's one.
system, like,
The system of like patients' records, and then the system to write reports,
Mhm.
and then the system to check in patients. Different types of system just to get access to get used to the whole operations of my. I work in the vascular lab, so of the lab. And yeah, just getting used to it. And then I started scanning my first day there, even though I was told that you don't really start scanning until the second week. But since this site was my clinical site, so if you look back at my profile, you know which which place I'm working at. But they just, threw me into the wolves and made me take in a patient my first day, and I was nervous. And I had a patient that made it worse because first thing she asked me is, how long is this gonna take? And then she proceeds to lying there on her Apple Watch the entire time. Very, very anxious.
Mm.
I was a wreck.
Oh, well, first of all, congratulations. You made it through your first week of work.
Thank you.
Yay. And it sounds about right. Sounds about right. When you're a new hire, even if you've had clinicals there, they still got to put you in the system. I remember when I was a student, I had to, we have to, ours is called Meditech. I don't know if you probably don't use that. But ours is called Meditech. And so my initials were GR as a student, and then they completely changed it for some reason. And now it's GAR. And I am it took me forever to be into the system. And I feel like every place is like that. Like they always have issues or whatever for signing on people. But I mean, look at you go. And of course they threw you into the wolves. That's what we do. Hey, you can scan. So go scan. Bye-bye.
And I'm like, right now, I'm just like adjusting from like a student mindset to like a full sonographer mindset, because they're like taking this patient and they just leave you in there until you're done with the exam. They don't like check up on you. So that independence is kind of scary but exciting, because they're like, here you go. This is your patient, this is your study, and this is your report. And I get to learn to write my own report, put my name on it and get it signed.
It's all you.
Yeah, it's all me. And I was like, oh, my name is there. I have to like double check, triple check, make sure everything is correct before I signed it.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It is exciting.
Watch, 5 years from now, you're going to be like, that was no big deal. That was no biggie.
Yeah.
And you won't
We'll
want
see.
you won't want people to look at your images. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I still ask for help.
Yeah, I feel like I will always ask for help.
Yeah. If you work in a department that is very helpful and has people who are willing to help, it's great because, you can always have a second pair of eyes, which I was telling my coworker also, she was my classmate a few years back, but she's now my coworker. And I told her, like, here, you can ask any of us for help. We will definitely help you. So hopefully they're like that over there.
They are. They're super, super helpful. Um, my department has a lot of. I'm the last one. They were like hiring a lot, and I'm the last one before they're like full, like a full. What's that called? Like
Full staff?
full
Or
staff. Oh my gosh! See, I'm blinking out because my mind is so tired. I'm
I
just
was
focusing on protocols.
I was telling her guys, I was like, "Now you're the one that's coming onto the podcast after work because today's my day off." So,
Yeah, and I rush home from work
thank
because
you.
we as you know, like the reason why we didn't have a podcast last week was because we're super busy. It's my first week. I was mentally exhausted and just how had work and amongst other things,
Yeah,
personal life.
yeah.
um Now I'm just like rushing back, and it's good to see you. It's good to catch up. And
Well, I'm glad you're here
yeah.
and you made it. So, obviously it's going to be a whole new world, different life, and of course we're going to adjust and we do what we can.
Definitely.
Um and people are still excited for the podcast, so I'm glad to hear and see that. Are you planning on keeping this current schedule? Like, do they have you changing? Tell everybody how it works. For those who don't know, are you per diem? Are you full time? What are your things?
So my position is full time, and I'm on, obviously, but like all jobs, I'm in a probationary period for 90 days. So that's 3 months. So my first 3 months, it's 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. This lab does not open on the weekends, so I just work Monday to Friday. And then after probationary period, I get the schedule is 4 days of 10 hours. So I look forward to that a lot.
Yeah.
And um, what else? So this position I got is because, I guess I did really well at my clinicals. That my manager, she kind of saved the position for me, even though, I finished in November, but the position opened in September. Like early September, she reached out, asked me if I'm interested. I said yes, but to be transparent, I'm not done until end of November. I plan to take my registry this date because she did tell me that I need to be registered. I need to have these credentials before I start, and obviously finish my program as well. So I was transparent with her. I'm like, if you're willing to hold this position, these are the dates I plan to get my credentials, finish. And then a month later in October, she asked me again just to make sure that I was still interested. And I said yes. And then a couple of weeks later, she was like, I sent your resume to HR, so I should hear back from them. The next day, I heard back from HR. They just told me to do the formalities, which is apply for the position, and then they sent me the offer letter. So I didn't need to interview. Thank goodness.
That's good. That's a good
It
plus.
was very smooth. I did all of this halfway through the last quarter. And, again, I had to tell HR because they did ask for my credentials and all the requirement stuff. Um, I did tell them the dates that I plan to take it, and then I updated as long as those. So my hiring process was very smooth because I was transparent to them, and I provided all the documents as soon as I got it. So that was the whole process of hiring. And if you like to know how to be successful at clinicals, I mean, like my situation was the ideal situation because I was aiming for it and I really, really worked hard for it. Like I expressed my interest in working there when I was at clinicals. So we did an episode on how to be successful for clinicals and how to get a job, ideally with your clinicals. So you can check out that episode when you have a chance if you're interested.
Yes. Yeah, and I like that you basically planted the seed, like telling them, "Hey, I'm interested in working here." And you proved yourself obviously, and they obviously wanted to hire you. So that's amazing. Do you have to take call at all?
Say
No.
what?
Do you have to take on like call shifts, like where they call you in after?
No.
Okay.
So my department is part of like a lab part of the cardiology department. So we're not part of this hospital is really big. So they have their own radiology department, and under that is like where the general ultrasound is, and then the vascular ultrasound. But we're a separate department that does like research and other uh, protocols that are more thorough than
Yeah.
what the other radiology department would look for.
So would they have I know vascular, you're in a vascular lab, and then so
Hmm.
they have an echo department that
Yes.
is strictly echo by itself, or do they have echo and other vascular?
Here's the thing, I'm under cardiology, but there are two separate departments of vascular and echo. We don't do like I don't do vascular and echo, unfortunately. I just do vascular. And the cardiac sonographers in the echo department only do echo. Like they have different managers, different directors, different doctors, and our department, the vascular department, does inpatient and outpatient. So I get to do. We rotate staff into inpatient because we only have one room for inpatient
In a really big hospital.
in a really big hospital. So we get a lot of
Wow.
orders.
Mhm.
And then there's echo, which is outpatient and inpatient. But to make it more confusing, this echo department has separate departments for inpatient, outpatient. So they have totally different staff, different managers, different procedures.
And
It's
for
just
inpatient and outpatient.
different
Wow.
doctors.
What about
It's super
general?
complicated. General
That's
is
general.
part of radiology, so they have their own like doctors and
Uh,
protocols and location.
oh, it's in a different part of the hospital? Like,
Yes,
you
it
don't
is in
see.
the basement, unfortunately.
So, if I was a general sonographer in your department, I would work in the basement, and then but I'd get the outpatients and inpatients,
No,
or
you just get inpatient.
inpatients, and
Yes,
then you get inpatient and outpatient vascular, and then
yes,
echo gets 2 separate departments, inpatient and outpatient.
yes, that's
Wow,
correct.
that's a
And this
big hospital.
and this is just for the hospital because they have multiple locations.
Mhm.
And I know that my classmate had an interview with their location out in Long Island, and she said that she can do vascular and echo. So I think it varies depending on location. I think
Yeah.
this hospital is just too big to do both because this needs to, be
Right.
absolutely specialized and thorough and detailed. So
Yeah.
plus we do research, so
Yes.
it makes it different.
So you're part of the research part? Like, you do research yourself?
I can work up to do research.
There's, like, other people or other sonographers that do the research, or is it doctors
Yes.
that do the research?
No.
Oh,
The senior sonographers do research. So
wow.
once the director approves of say that okay, your techniques are good, you can do research because he oversees the research. And the research that he does is, FMD, fibromuscular dysplasia,
Mhm.
and triple A's, so
Oh,
abdominal aorta aneurysms. So he does a lot of research on that, and that's
wow.
Wednesdays and Fridays we have research.
Cool.
Yes.
That's what it's like to work at a fancy hospital. How
Yeah.
cool. Like,
But the thing is that like as fancy as it is and as cool as research is, the doctor who is our director of the lab, he's very strict.
mhm.
Makes sense.
That's good too. They gotta be
Yeah.
like, I feel like top of the line A game type stuff, especially if you have
Yes.
research. Um, wow. I thought our hospital was big, but I'm sure your guys' departments have a lot of sonographers. And I'm assuming they're probably hiring.
After me, not anymore
Hmm.
because we're fully staffed,
Hmm.
and I think there are about 10, 11 of us.
In vascular lab only, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty big considering for like one hospital. Cause but then you gotta take into account general sonography and then echo sonography too.
Hmm.
It's
But
interesting. I mean, my hospital is like 800 beds.
hmm
And then our department is not fully staffed yet. There's 18 of us. And we're still trying to hire 3 more. So, and that's just general. So 21, but plus, per diems. So
mm,
we're pretty stacked, but not really. We're still hiring. So anyone want to work in Vegas? Let me know.
what I would want to work with you so badly. If you
Yeah.
don't live in Las Vegas, oh my gosh,
I know.
then
But
we wouldn't be sonographers in the cities.
I know. We'd be sonographers in Las Vegas.
Yes. I'm trying to see how many
Total. Because like
beds.
our echo department,
1100 beds.
1,100 beds. Yeah, that's huge. I've always been curious about how those departments run, and it makes sense that there's separate departments for general vascular echo because it's so big. Like, we're drowning in exams over here, and we're just one department, you know?
Yes.
And so was echo too. Echo too is very much so. When I see them pushing their machines around, I talk to them, like, "How are you guys?" And they're like, "Oh, we're so busy." And I'm like, "Us too." So
Yeah. Every day is like that. My first week, 40 something patients a day. And each protocol is like an hour. I take
yeah.
2 hours.
I saw you did a saphenous is it a reflux study you did?
Yeah,
Yeah,
two
was that was your
hours.
first time doing that?
That was my first time. I've seen it. I've never done it, and
I
it
do
is
those.
so tedious.
Yep.
There are 78 images
Do you make them
for the
stand?
protocols. No, they're in bed, and we're at the reverse. How do you say that?
Say it. You can
Oh my
say it.
god, I can't say. I don't have the word.
Trendelenburg.
Trendelenburg or something.
Trendelenburg.
Trendelenburg. Yes.
Yes.
I put them at like I was told to put them at like at least 45 degrees. I'm like, they're gonna slide off the bed. No, like, no, they're not.
I know.
No, I don't stand them because a lot of them have like a lot of pain in their legs, and it's just keep making them move is just too much work for them, and we want
Yeah.
them to be as comfortable as they can. So
Yeah.
that's the most we can do.
That's
Unless
good.
it's like really, really bad, then we can do something. But that's that. And it's just so tedious.
It is. When I worked at a outpatient cardiology office,
Hmm.
I did reflex studies on every single venous exam I had, and I
You
did it
must
by
be so
by
skilled.
myself, and they were standing, every single one
Wow.
of them. But you can do it. Yeah, it's a tough exam because it is tedious. It's a zillion images, and it's all of this multitasking. So
Yes.
if anybody knows what reflex studies are, comment down below or let us know, and let's see what you guys know.
And comment down below if reflux studies is your favorite studies, because it's definitely not mine.
No, we all know what your favorite is.
Oh, carotids.
Carotids.
I
I had
just
a
like it because it's just like I was first exposed to it and I first learned it.
Yeah, I had a really hard one the
Oh,
other day.
really?
It was really hard only because her neck was so skinny, but it was just so hard to get because I don't know what is it right here? Like
The
When they're
muscle, the
yeah, like when
sternocleido something muscle.
yeah, like when they're really skinny and it's like poking out, and then her bifurcation was like
Mm.
high. So it's so hard sometimes. Like there are hard ones. I mean, they're not all easy, but they are pretty straightforward.
I
Oh,
had a
and TCDs. You do TCDs?
um no,
Oh,
that's radiology.
oh,
I had a patient today. Her neck was really short
mhm,
and really thick.
mhm.
I struggled with my
Yeah, those are
carotids
hard.
because I was like, I can't get to her subclavian because it's here, and then her. We usually do like prox, mid, and then mid and distal, and I just did one clip the entire thing because it was basically the length of the transducer.
Oh, yeah, it was like super short and tiny.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's so many different factors, but I mean, carotids are fun. And when I do TCDs, I literally have done 8 TCDs for the last, I don't know how many days.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's just so crazy because we've had a few subarachnoid hemorrhages
Hmm.
and, from aneurysms, like being ruptured and all that. And there's only a few of us that know how to do TCDs. So I've had to do them like every time I've worked the last week and a half. I even went in today on my day off to go do some because there's no one who can do them right now.
Hmm.
So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
they're I think you should learn. I think you'd really like them if
I
you like
want to
carotids.
learn. I learned about it when in one of my clinical sites,
Mhm.
but my lab doesn't do it, and somehow I just gotta try to
Fine.
maintain that information until I go to a place where I can do it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's
Soon, eventually, it'll make you more profitable. More experience, exposure, skills. But it's not you're just at the very beginning, literally 1 week
very
in.
beginning.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Oh my gosh, it feels so weird my first last week that I didn't have to study. I
Oh,
was so
yeah.
used to like clinicals, like after seeing a patient, I wrote the reports, and then afterwards, I would study
Mm.
during my between patients, and then I sit here, I was like,
What do I
I
do?
fi- I finished with my homework, and then in the back of my mind, I was like, what's due tonight? What's due tomorrow? What's due end of the week? But there's nothing. I have like no classes, and I'm just like trying to keep myself busy by studying previous studies and studying how to write these reports. Just
Mhm.
studying how the operations here is, but it's not
Mhm.
studying for classes. This feels weird.
Yeah. You're just, trying to make sure you're being a really good sonographer for your
Hmm.
department and your patients, which is very exciting. Can't wait to hear more about your experiences moving forward.
And I can't wait to share cases with you now that I'm registered and working. So there'll be interesting cases.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got to do a carotid post enderectomy. So I got to see what it looks like. I got to do a lower extremity vein post ablation. So I got to see what to expect with those. And I just got to do lower extremity artery post bypass graft. So those has been really, really interesting.
It's funny because you've got all the hard stuff, like considering, but that's like your job, like to see the vascular lab stuff. And like when I think of people over here in Vegas, like they want to stay away from those because those are the
Really?
hard exams, like the graphs, right? Like a fem
Mhm.
graph or like uh fistula, like
Fistula or
AV graphs or
grafts.
whatever. And people like to stay away from vascular. Like when I worked at an outpatient place, no one liked doing vascular. And I'm just like, why? I like vascular. It's very interesting. It is hard though, because you're like
It
trying to
is
figure
hard.
out where everything is. Like it's a
Mhm.
roadmap, and you're trying to figure out where it's going, where's the proximal anastomosis, the distal anastomosis. And for those of you in school, you're definitely going to learn all these things, but it's the amount of things we know and the knowledge, it's crazy. Like a lot of you think it's just vascular, like people think, oh, you just can't, carotids, but there's just so much more to it.
I know. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like to me, I think scanning anything status post a procedure besides ablation, um, is so easy to see. Like the bypass grafts is very echogenic. Just like the post enderectomy, the vessel is super dilated, so you can see what's going on. And fistulas too. It's easier to see rather than you're just evaluating for occlusion. Occlusions to me is like the hardest because it's hard to see, like to confirm that it's occluded, you
Mm,
know. But
yeah.
it's
Do
interesting.
you get patients who are like post angiograms or pseudoaneurysms, or is that like the
That's
general
inpatient.
inpatient
Yes. So I'm currently outpatient right
right now?
now,
Hmm.
and we don't get any for pseudoaneurysm check.
Yeah, they're hard. They're hard too. Gotta find that little
Those
bit.
are hard.
But I get a bunch of
Yeah.
them. Man, don't get an angiogram. Goodness me, I had like 3 pseudoaneurysms
Oh
recently.
my gosh.
And then
Yeah, that's
one had a
crazy.
huge hematoma on his left groin. I'm like, "Oh, poor guy." It's
Yeah.
huge, but
I actually glad I was like working. I was at work and I was like, I'm glad I chose vascular before echo, even though I've always expressed my, end goal is
mhm,
echo.
yeah.
I like doing vascular now because I get to talk to you about vascular because that's one thing we have in common.
Yeah, if you had echo, I would not know what to talk to you about.
I know.
But that would be really cool to hear echo things. Obviously, echo, so,
Yes.
and also I feel like echo is not as, um I guess you could I don't know if popular is a word, like, it's just not as known, I think, on social media. A majority of the people on social media that I know are general sonographers or vascular, and
Mhm.
when people ask me about echo YouTubes or, like, echo people, like, there's not many I can send them to, you know?
Mhm.
So or there are some and they don't update as often as more general people do.
Yes.
So I'm just curious why that is, but
Haven't found the right person yet.
yeah, gotta see somebody with echo out there. It's a good niche. You
Yes.
can you can blow up because there's a lot of
Ah,
people in echo
there
students,
is.
but I'm like, I don't know where to send them to. So if you have an echo YouTube or sonographer or Instagram that that you follow, let us
Oh,
know.
yeah, but we also have Evie. She was a
Yes.
guest on our
Mhm.
podcast. She's a great resource to go through Echo.
Yeah, she's in Chicago, I believe.
Yes.
And you guys can message her for questions and answers. But we definitely do enjoy the podcast still. We hope you guys are still enjoying the podcast as well. So it is busy season. Lynn is
Yes.
extra, extra busy. I'm doing all my Christmas shopping and I have family coming to town. So, we're gonna do our best to keep you guys updated and with the episodes, especially for next year. Let us know what you want to hear. We've got a lot of topics and we can't wait for 2023.
Yes, I can't wait for this is going to be our second year doing this podcast, and I can't wait to see what we are going to do with it, especially now with you having your master's. And now that I'm working, we're just going to take it into a different angle. And I think
Yeah.
it'll be good for the podcast.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Keep
Yes.
on letting us know about your journeys. And obviously, you guys will be a part of ours. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for watching, for listening. If you haven't already, please follow us on Instagram and tag us if you listen to us or watch us. And if you have any questions, reach out. That's the fastest way for us to be in contact with you is through our Sonographers in the Cities Instagram.
Yes, and we also have a Facebook page now, so go
Yes,
check it out.
we got to update that soon.
We're just very busy bees, and you guys
Yes.
will too be busy bees one day. I already know it too, because like all my admin for Discord, they're very busy, and they're a
Oh, yeah.
majority of them are graduated already. There's few that are still needing to graduate, almost there.
Yes.
But everyone's busy, and that's just how it goes. But we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the support, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.